Your soul, if you don't train it, it will go with whatever comes along. Have you ever noticed how little kids are that way? You can ask them something and right in the middle of a sentence they're distracted and they'll talk about something else, or maybe they'll ask you a question and while you're answering the question they ask you something else that has nothing to do with that. Their little souls aren't trained. They just whatever hits their mind, whatever. And when we don't grow up, and I'm sorry to say so much of our world is this way, we have through media and so forth, that has trained us. You can't hold people's attention on television. Then why are there so many commercials? Because people can't sit and watch. They say now that most people don't stay on a channel more than 7 minutes. I heard that the other 7 minutes. Well, that's deep, isn't it? Of course, it could be that what you're watching is not worth more than 7 minutes, if that. So when you're in prayer and you're waiting on the Lord, you must train your spirit or develop your spirit by allowing your spirit to be in charge of your soul. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. And don't get tired of doing it. Don't get tired of, don't give in, don't cave in. Just like working out, it's harder at first. It seems like nothing's happening. And your body will say, I don't want to do this. You know, my little girl, she was absolutely the worst to put to bed. You put her to bed, I don't know how many times, she'd think of everything under the sun. You ever have one like that? She wanted to brush her teeth again. She wanted to get a drink of water. She had an itch. She had an ant bite. She wanted to check on this, check on that. Couldn't hardly keep her in the bed. Well, your body, once you get still, it's amazing. For adults, all we want to do is sit down, unless we're wanting to pray. And when we start to pray, all we want to do is get up. Am I right? Just want to get up. After 2 or 3 minutes, it's like, okay, oh yeah, I need to do this. Oh yeah, I need to do that. Oh, this list. Oh yeah, the Lord's giving me my grocery list right now. No, He's not. And so you bring your mind back to it. My soul, wait only upon God. We're not going to do anything else. Now, if you don't want to do this, then forget about being strong in the Lord and the power of His might. Forget about results. And you will be like that, won't be like that person that said, what would have come of me if I had not believed the Lord? Well, I'll tell you what will come of you. Just like the opposite of what he said. He said, my foes did not overcome me with violence. They'll overcome you. And then God will get the blame for it, and it's not His fault. Wait upon the Lord and silently submit to Him. There's too much talk sometimes. I forgot, what was Moses' first name? Do you remember that man, the pastor? Anyway, he said he was laying in the floor crying out to God and praying and praying and praying and praying. And he finally said, it finally occurred to me, here is somebody that knows nothing doing all the talking to somebody who knows everything. What was it? Rufus Mosley. Not Moses, Mosley. Rufus Mosley. Sorry. And so, waiting on the Lord in silence, and it's not just the listening for Him to say something. He says this is an application. Silence has many applications. Am I opening your eyes to how much there is about prayer? Am I showing you that there's a world of prayer out there that most of us know nothing about? Silence has many applications. You can be silent many ways. Really, Pastor Terry? Really. And one of the ways he says here is in silence, submit. It doesn't mean to just be quiet. There is an activity happening in silence. In silence, yield. Demanding that your thoughts come only to the Lord. That's the only place where there really is silence. If you're not thinking on the Lord, then your mind is busy. Now, other religions will try to get you to a place to where your mind is blank, and that's not God. He never created your mind to be blank. But to come to God and have your mind on Him is the only place where there is quiet. True quiet. And in that place of silence, you're locating your inner man in here, and you are submitting. Well, you might know it might be something specific because the Lord may be dealing with you about something. Maybe He's dealing with you about giving something. Maybe He's dealing with you about obedience. Go back to school, change your job, don't do this, don't do that. I don't know, it could be any aspect of obedience, but it could be just yielding to Him. On purpose, locating your inner man and Him inside your inner man, and by faith, you give it to Him. And then you give Him more. And then you give Him more. And you do it by faith until you can become aware of it. You can feel it, not with natural feelings, but there's a sensitivity that begins to be developed in your spirit man. You're sensitive to Him, you yield. And you can never run to the end of it. You're an eternal being, He's an eternal being, and you never come to the end of either. You never get to the bottom of yourself or the bottom of Him. You just keep yielding. And you exercise it, and you exercise it, and you exercise it with an intent and a purpose as you're thinking on Him. And you're just, sometimes it's not even thinking about Him as in He's this or He's that. It's just Him. My soul, wait only upon God and silently submit to Him, for my hope and expectation are from Him. I have an expectation that this does something. I do not like to waste my time in prayer, either out of ignorance or being uninformed or misinformed, scripturally ignorant, or simply because I didn't follow the Holy Spirit and allow myself to become distracted. That can be a waste of time. But He says, this is my expectation from Him. And see, out of this submitting, out of this place in silence, He comes to this. In this, He's my rock. He's my salvation. Let's say you're in trouble. Maybe you have a court case. Maybe someone's suing you. Maybe there's something at work going on. Maybe someone's spoken ill of you. Maybe your life's been threatened. Maybe you live in a bad neighborhood. Whatever it would be. You go through that and you are yielding to Him as your defense. You are my defense. And not saying it. Saying it has its place, but this is not about saying it. He said this comes from submitting to it. Get under it. Now, I want to read you a verse. I want to tell you what we're doing right here to encourage. This will encourage you. 1 Corinthians 2:12. We have not received the Spirit that belongs to the world, but the Holy Spirit is from God. He's given to us so that we might realize. That's not just find information out. That's a realization, a dawning. Comprehend and appreciate the gifts of divine favor and blessing that are freely bestowed on us by God. And we are setting these truths forth in words that are not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Holy Spirit. Combining, interpreting spiritual truths with spiritual language to those who possess the Spirit. So the natural, non-spiritual man doesn't accept this. He doesn't welcome this. The revelations of the Spirit, they're folly to him. He's incapable of knowing them because they are spiritually discerned and appreciated.